Hello, everybody. I'm talking to Madeleine Swann today on Get Lit with Lisa. Her new book, The Vine That Ate the Starlet, recently came out. And we're going to talk about that and the British Bizarro anthology that recently came out.
Quite recently, yeah, summertime, yes. Hello, everybody.
How's it going over there in merry old England?
It's good. It's midnight, so all the witches are going to come out in a minute. But yeah, generally not bad. Everyone's on lockdown, so I don't really know what's going on anywhere at the minute. We've all kind of been sucked into our own very small vacuum. So, but yeah, generally with me and Bill, it's good.
Do you get out at all?
Yeah, I get out to pick up prescription and things like that. But, Bill and I haven't really been out for, since it all began, so months maybe.
Oh my God.
So it's been a while.
Are you sure
Yeah.
you haven't gone completely mad?
I think we might have, because I think it's one of those situations where it's like the frog, where if somebody from outside was to come in and see how we are day to day, they'll probably think that we've lost our minds. But to us, it all seems very normal,
What's your day look like? Tell me.
Well, Bill's working from home,
Mm-hmm.
so to him it's like a chore to put his trousers on now.
Mm-hmm.
So when he knows that we've got someone coming round, I noticed that to him it was like an ordeal. Like I had to let him know like what time, because I've got to put my trousers on. It's like all you've literally got to do is just grab them and put them on. It's not like a ritual, but yeah, it's like permanent, flump clothes, a lot of singing and dancing, and we've kind of been inventing a weird language, so that might be a bit odd. But yeah, we understand what we mean.
Can you tell me about the language?
Let me try. Okay, so me and my friend Weaven, or Steve rather, have always talked in like twin speak, because we've known each other for quite a few years. The most simple thing I would have to look, because it comes so naturally that I can't remember any examples. But it's quite sort of, I don't know, nobody else really understands what we're saying, and to us it seems obvious, but Bill's kind of adopted that. So I think from the outside it's all got a bit strange and Lord of the Flies.
That's cool. It's been a while since I invented a language. I think I was like 4 years old. I had this friend, and it's interesting because we both lived in Mexico. We were both bilingual. Both of our mothers were American who had married Mexican physics teachers, which is my parents were like friends with there were several friends that were like.
That's very specific. A very specific thing to have in common with someone.
There were several families. There was with American wives and Mexican physics or math professors. It was so strange.
It's really strange.
And me and this girl, we made up our own language. I don't remember any of it, but we were both bilingual, so I don't know if that came into play. It's pretty sad. I only have one concrete memory of something that we did together, and it was really bizarre. It was her idea. It was not my idea.
Okay.
but I did go along with it. So, but I was 4, so but she's like, maybe we're 5, I don't know. But she's like, I have a great idea. Why don't we poop and put flowers in it?
Guess it kind of makes some sort of sense. It's like fertilizer, so
yeah. It's like she was over at my house, I think, and so we went in my backyard, and we went in and we both pooped side by side in the yard, and and then we went around gathering flowers and making it all pretty and like putting flowers in it.
I don't think I've ever seen a friend or loved one's poo ever. I don't think I have. I mean, maybe like if you go into the loo and they haven't flushed properly, but I've never seen like a finished product
Yeah,
from
I mean, from
the
what
anus
I
of someone I
recall,
know.
they were very neat piles.
Yeah. I
That's
remember a friend I had. I had a friend sort of all through primary school, and it used to be a thing that we did to. I don't know if you ever got Super Ted in America,
a
but
what?
here it's like a Super Ted. It was a cartoon in the 80s, and it was a teddy bear who was like Superman, and he would like take off
Oh,
his bear suit, and it would be like an S. And I had a toy Super Ted, and we would put it in the middle of the road because we lived in a cul-de-sac, and cycle over it just repetitively. And I don't know why. Like, maybe it was because we wanted to, it was quite fun to sort of aim a bike at something. But why it was always Super Ted, I don't really know, because I didn't have like a dislike of Super Ted.
But
It
you'd
was like we'd
run it over?
say,
You mean you'd run it over?
yeah, we'd say to each other, oh, should we go and run over, like cycle over Super Ted? And he had, yeah, he had like a tire mark over his face.
Aw, poor little
He'd
thing.
done it so much. Yeah. I don't know what that was about, really. I don't know.
It's so weird what kids find exciting. I remember another thing I
Yeah.
really enjoyed doing when we'd have my birthday parties. My birthday parties were so fun. I couldn't get my classmates were never able to come because my birthday's on Christmas.
Yeah.
You know, they're always with their families. That's what's always kind of sucked about my birthday, because Christmas is family time. You're supposed to hang out
Yeah.
with your family and have a miserable time. Um, and so then my dad's colleagues, they would come with, and they would bring their kids, which was pretty great. So it was like just a big party. It wasn't like a kids party. It was like a
Yeah.
party.
An actual, yeah.
And so the kids would get into a bunch of mischief and stuff. And like one of the things that these boys, there are a lot of boys, they really like to do is burn stuff, find stuff to burn. So we'd get like would gather like that, we'd have plastic cups and stuff for the party, or plastic plates and things like that. So we'd like take them out to the parking lot and burn those. Like that was really
What did you do for your birthday? I burned stuff. I burned everything.
Or we'd like try to steal our parents' cigarettes, like not to smoke them, just to fuck with their heads, like steal their cigarettes.
I remember hiding a cigarette of my sister's. I've got older sisters, and I remember I hid her cigarette though, because I didn't want her to smoke it, because I was really worried or something. I was quite young, so
I did that with my mother,
doing...
actually. I actually would flush her cigarettes down the toilet. I didn't want her to smoke.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were fun parties though. I enjoyed it. It was really weird.
Sounds
I would get like so freaked out about hitting the piñata. I'd get like total like panic attack, like about hitting the piñata, like performance anxiety. Like,
yeah, I can imagine.
I would freak out at the idea that everybody was going to watch me hitting the piñata, even though it was my own damn birthday party. So whenever they'd string up the piñata, and I had so much fun buying it too. I would go with my dad and we'd get out, and I'd be all excited. And then when it was time to do it, I would go and hide in my bedroom and look out the window at everybody doing it. And my dad would come up and just beg me to come down. And I never would. I couldn't do it. I was terrified. And
It's like if having an extra layer of like pressure, like for something that's meant to be fun, your birthday, because that's the kind of thing that would completely stress me out as a kid. If I had to do that as well as have people over to the house, that would just be too much. Too much.
It clearly was for me. I couldn't,
Yeah.
it freaked me out so much. But then like, I would watch, and then when I could tell like it was about to break, then I'd run down to get the candy, and I'd like dive in with it.
Push everyone else away. It's mine now. You've done your job.
My birthday, damn it. It's my candy.
Yeah, you did it for me.
For breaking my piñata, minions. Now I come and collect my goods.
I tell you, the day I found out that it wasn't the law to have a kid's birthday party, I was so happy that day. I think I must have been about 8 or something. And I just remember thinking, oh God, my birthday's coming up. A party, I suppose. And then I mentioned it to my mum. I said, I wish we didn't have to have a birthday party. And she said, well, you don't. So that was like a miracle. From then on, I just didn't have one. It was great.
What the hell is wrong with us?
Like, I don't know.
Stupid, man. I don't get it.
Yeah.
But it's weird. Like, even now, like, you know, I'll find myself being anxious about things, or like, you know, really blowing up, you know, anxiety about things in my head. And then when I finally get around to doing it, it's like, well, that wasn't that bad. Like, that was fine. But like, in the brain, it's like this whole crazy thing with all these weird overlapping connections that aren't even there, you know?
Oh, definitely. I mean, doing stuff like this, you know, I have to like mentally build myself up to it all day. It's very, I get very stressed out.
I feel like the more you do stuff, the more it goes away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Break yourself in.
I can see that. Mm.
But you look fabulous. You look great.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
What's that necklace? It looks like a candy necklace.
Yeah, it's just skulls, lots of different colour skulls.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, my friend Nathan got them for me. I've known Nathan since we were about 3, I think. We met at nursery, and we're still friends. And actually, he's really good at telling out loud stories. Like, it was always a thing, like, we'd say to Nathan, like, however old we've been, I'd say, tell us a story. And he's just like takes you on this really vibrant journey, but he doesn't write stuff down. He's not like, I don't know if that would be his thing to want to do, but if you ever ask him to tell you a story, he's really good at it. And there have been times where I've asked him to tell me a scary story at Halloween, and it actually has made me feel like really uncomfortable. So he's just naturally very good at that, an orator.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
You were telling me that you're thinking of doing this new podcast where you're telling Bill stories.
Yeah, it's just a thing that I want to do with Bill, and I basically it's going to be on my YouTube channel, and I will tell a story and ask him to interject and ask him what he wants to call a character or what he thinks should happen next, or, you know, I'll see how it goes, but I'm quite looking forward to it.
I love
so
fun. I think there's something so fun about, you know, that organic experience of telling a story.
Yeah, because my sister used to make up stories when I was little, and it's such a strong memory. And, you know, Nathan being really good at it, that I just think being told a story is it's a nice thing. And maybe even if, you know, people don't like anything else about it, they might find it very soothing. So that'd be nice.
Yeah. So why don't you tell me a story?
Okay. Well, we'll see how this goes.
I'll give you a setting.
Okay.
I'll give you a setting. Okay.
Hmm.
I've been watching the show Grand Hotel. It's a Spanish show. It's all set in this.
Oh, I watched the first series of that.
I'm obsessed. I'm on the third season now. I cannot watch anything else. I'm watching,
Yeah,
not doing anything. I'm not sleeping. I'm just watching this fucking.
just watching that. Yeah, it's very addictive. I didn't get around to starting the second one, but it's really, I remember from the first one, it's like the usual telenovela thing where it's like literally every 10 seconds something major is happening.
You
Yeah,
can't look away. You'll miss like giant plot points.
exactly. Yeah, it's like constant.
It gets crazier. Second season, it gets even crazier.
Yeah, I can imagine it probably does. I've got up the ante.
I love Haunted Man, but I felt like I love it, but you know what would make it better? Like ghosts and werewolves and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, those were in the world. So let's do a setting. So it's like a it doesn't have to be a hotel, but some big mansion
Okay.
by the ocean.
Hmm.
There's drama and there's something very bad and something very bad happened and people
Yes.
are going to discover it and there's a ghost.
Okay. Lady
And-
Florentine.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yes. Go ahead.
Lady Florentine ran the most expensive modelling agency known to man. It operated out of Grand. What can the hotel be called?
Hmm.
Uh,
Grand Pinafore.
Grand Pinafore. And she had on her books every undead beauty in the land. There was Trixie, the ghost. She was employed to appear in the background of photographs.
Oh my god.
So if someone wanted to show proof of the paranormal, they'd hire her and she'd just pose in the background. And one day she realised that her books were empty, and Lady Florentine was devastated by this and couldn't think of what had happened. So she went on her paranormal computer and I don't know what
computer.
It's a computer that allows you to see everything happening in the paranormal realm, I guess. And I noticed that a rival modelling agency had opened up just opposite, and she was very annoyed and decided that she would go over and have strong words. I'm going to end it there because it's midnight and I think my brain died.
Leaving me hanging.
I know. It's quite good. I am going to carry that on, I think.
Wow.
That's quite
I love that. I love that. I want a paranormal computer.
I do as well.
That is
yeah.
Very good. Very good.
Thank you. Thank you.
You did it.
Yeah.
So tell me about your latest book, The Vine That Ate the Star.
Okay. So Bill pointed out that it's kind of an amalgamation of everything that I'm interested in. So it's got like 1920s glamour, the film industry, but gossip. Like it's a gossip columnist is the main character, and she gets sucked into a mystery story. It's set in a New York where man-eating plants have overtaken the city, and everything is very. The immigration bureau is very extreme, and a girl dies at a party that she's at, and she wants to find out what happened and why, and it takes her into this sort of uncovering unpleasant things about where she lives and what's going on and so on. So it's kind of a mystery, sort of science fiction-ish type weird thing. So yes.
I love that. Yeah, I was thinking that as well when I was reading it. I was like, this is like all the stuff, all the stuff she
Yeah,
did.
yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's got everything. Like I like silent films, and I especially like it when there's women wearing really glamorous things. So I was like, well, that's got to be in it. And I like strange, spooky films from that era as well. So it's all kind of in there somehow.
Hmm. Yeah, I love the fashion of that time. I love the style of movies too.
Yeah, definitely.
What, so is that your favorite era of cinema as well, like the 20s or?
Well, it's difficult to kind of pinpoint a favorite era because there's just so much. There's so many good films, weird films that I love. I think there's something about 20s and the excitement of it being such a new industry,
Mhm.
and like they weren't always so worried about things fitting into, like, there's some really strange anomalies out there, like I was watching, what was it called, it was a Todd Browning film, and it was before he did Freaks, and it's just a weird story of a guy who commits a crime and he works at a sideshow, and it's got oh god, what is it, I can't remember, but it's the show, it's just called The Show, and it's got some really weird visuals in it, like it's all done with mirrors, I think, like a girl who you can just see her head, and she's got like these big spider legs coming out sort of either side of it, and but yeah, like I recommend it, and there were just more
Is that what it's called, the
there were
show?
just some real oddities. Yeah, it's called The Show, it's 1927.
I have not seen that. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I watched it on my birthday. I got it for my birthday, and immediately put it on the media centre.
It sounds incredible. I'm looking it up. So it's 1927,
Yeah,
starring John Gilbert.
yes, that's the one.
Lady, a lady killer, John Gilbert, at a carnival runs afoul of the law and a jealous colleague, Lionel Barrymore. Oh, Lionel Barrymore, nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, these movies are so strange. I mean, a lot
yeah,
of movies were made before the all the ratings and stuff too, pre-code. Oh, there's the image of the Spider Woman. Oh
yeah.
wow, that is a great image. Holy crap!
There's another bit where they cut. It's like done with trickery and that. Yeah, that's it. Arachnia, I think.
Love
Yeah,
that. Oh my,
that's the one.
that is such a cool image. Yeah, there's like a purity, and a pure weirdness.
Yes. Yeah, especially when you go right far back and look at Méliès and Alice Guy Blanchet and so on. It was just, you could just have like some just really weird images, like the short film The Cabbage Fairy, or Segundo. What's the guy's name? Segundo something.
What's
Some
the
really weird.
what's
Um,
Cabbage Fairy about?
it's very short, and the main thing I remember about it is just a baby's head, like, with cabbage leaves sort of all round it. And oh no, it's the smoking fairy that I'm thinking of specifically,
It's probably,
nicotine fairy, where it's like if you if you smoke too much nicotine, try and remember it. There's these weird fairies that appear, and like none of it really makes any sense, but it doesn't matter because it looks interesting.
wow.
So,
Is that like a propaganda movie, like Reefer Madness?
no, I think it was just like they decided, because it's not set out like a propaganda. They just, it's like no harm comes to him. It's just like a fun little diversion. So
What
yeah,
happens in it?
he smokes just a cigar, I think, and these fairies appear, and that's kind of it, really. But it's
Wow. That's cool. Yeah, Méliès, it's so sad because there's so many movies that were lost of Méliès.
Yeah.
But there's a lot out there and they're pretty incredible. I kind of love how many of the movies he plays the devil and how he just like does weird things like juggling his own head and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah, because he was a magician, I think, as well, other than a filmmaker. So he liked to, yeah, he just liked to make weird little things like the music score thing with just his head. So I think he somehow made his head appear like all over this musical score thing. And yeah, it's just very impressive and fun.
I mean, that was the birth of cinema. He was
Yeah.
um it's interesting cinema being that way. Like, I don't think people think about that. It's kind of it was an extension of stage magic.
Yeah.
It's like, what's a cool way to do more tricks?
Yeah. It's like as well, there's I can't remember any names because I'm on the spot, but I think he was from the Netherlands. Don't quote me on that, but he did an entire sort of stop motion film using dead bugs. And
Oh, wow.
called the cameraman, I think it's called, and I do recommend that. I mean, I'm completely creeped out by dead bugs, but it is a really good film, so it's worth watching.
Is it like a big variety of dead bugs, like different kinds?
Yeah, there's beetles, there's crickets, it's a whole load of them, and it's like a satire on melodrama as well. So there's a lot going on.
That's very intriguing.
Hmm.
Yeah, I love. I think one of the high points of weird early cinema is definitely when Chien Andalou.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really fun. Dali and Buñuel, and there's so much like great imagery, like when they're both dressed up as priests and they're tied up on a grand piano.
Yeah.
Who's carrying it? Like, just these awesome images, or the hand.
Yeah.
Hand
ants.
it,
Yeah.
ants crawling out of it, and then it cuts to somebody on the street getting hit by a car and people swarming to them, or a cloud going across the moon, and then a knife cutting a goat or something's eye.
Yeah. It's brilliant. Yeah, and the seashell and the clergyman as well. That's really pretty, but it's got a different kind of feel. Like Chien Andalou is very lively, whereas that is very like soothing. So it's kind of like nice to watch them together. I think they both kind of have like an opposite feel to each other almost. I don't know.
Yeah, I like how Chien Andalou ends with the heads, like they're like buried in the ground and you only see their heads coming out, and then it says in the springtime.
Yeah.
Like flowers or something.
Yeah.
And how it plays with narrative, like everything is. I need to watch it again because I feel like there is, like, if you watch it the first time, you're like, okay, this is just like being weird for the sake of being weird,
Yeah.
and just messing with traditional narrative for the sake of messing with traditional narrative, which it was definitely, but
Yeah.
sure, there's a logic to why things happen when they happen.
Yeah, it's interesting because I've got a version of it which has got like the audio of some film person talking over it. Oh, and when it reached the end of the film, I realized I didn't actually understand anything that this film person said about it, but I still found it interesting and useful. But like, it got to the end and I thought, I don't think I'm any the wiser. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it's got a great score. So is there any art that's coming out now that makes you feel excited the way those old movies and old strange movies did?
Well, when it comes to film, I always feel, oh, hang on.
Yeah, I'm like, I I've not been coughing at all, and suddenly I'm like,
I feel like my favourite three directors, I mean, God, even saying that, there's just so many, but maybe more like mainstream, but I love Guy Madden, Anna Biller. I particularly love Viva, I think, and Quentin Dupieux. They're, I think, probably three of my favourites at the moment, because it's just like Annabella sort of focuses on one era, like I often do, and there's a kind of like hazy, weird feel to her stuff, you know. It's and Guy Madden is like 1920s and surrealism, which are again like two big interests of mine. And Quentin Dupieux is just hilarious. It's just weird.
cool. Yeah, Guy Madden. Yeah, Guy Madden. What's your favorite Guy Madden movie?
My favourite is actually The Forbidden Door. Forbidden Door? Forbidden Room? I can't remember. Forbidden... It's The Forbidden Room. It's late. It's gone midnight. That's my excuse. I think that's probably my favourite one, because it is like, it started off as like a bunch of short films, I think, for an exhibition, I think, and they got put together and given this overarching story, you know, like an anthology thing, like an Amicus film from the 70s. So yeah, I just think it's really clever. I like all the short films. There's a lot of like really absurdist humour to his stuff, but there's loads of it in that. And yeah, absurdist humour is the best kind.
I saw The Saddest Music in the World.
Oh, I love that one. Oh, that's actually my favourite one, I think.
That one's incredible. Isabella Rossellini's in that, and it's so like, it's such a weird blend of like being just unbearably sad.
Yeah.
And then there's these weird, funny things that just kind of uncomfortable.
Because it's got all of the beauty of old films, but all of the stupid humour from now. And I kind of feel like that's what I aspire to sometimes, you know, like that would be the thing that the goal that I want to reach. So yeah. So you said there's an anthology that you're doing. Yeah, the bumper book of British Bizarro. I'm sort of in an informal support group, I guess, I don't know what else you'd call it, of me and Liam Shardlow and Chris Meekings and Danny Brown and more people, you know, and we put together the bumper book of British Bizarro, and the most exciting thing I think about it is all the new people, because we put out calls for submissions and got all these people that I didn't know were out there, and it's really good. It's very exciting, and that's out. So yeah.
Nice. Who published it?
Well, we didn't really set up a press, but yeah, we just kind of put it together. Liam Shardlow would be the person to sort of ask more about the technical stuff, but we'll look through the stories and, you know, so yeah.
Cool. Do you guys do you do Zoom meetings or anything?
We talk on, we recently did, Chimpy, Liam Shardlow, is putting together this game that's like a role-playing game, but of like a weird fiction one. And we tested that. It's on my channel, actually. I can send you the link of it if you're curious, but he's doing that, so we did that recently. And we still talk all the time on Messenger. So yeah, we all keep in touch a lot.
What time do you usually go to bed?
11.
I would have like pictured you as like a late late riser, late sleeper.
No, the weird thing is, I don't know if it's being with Bill and him having to get up, around 7, that sort of time.
Oh
But
wow.
we've really, like, our schedules have really synced up. So, but he needs less sleep than I do anyway. I need a lot.
Yeah. So, anything exciting on the horizon?
Well, I'm working on something, and I've got some short stories coming out, and so yes, things are coming up. You just have to look at my Twitter and keep up with it that way.
How often do you have videos, have content on your channel?
I try and do something every week, whether it's just me talking about my thoughts or testing Chimpy's role-playing game, or I try and do something every week. It's just a nice sort of, I don't know, it's kind of a hobby where I feel like that's good, I've done that week, so it's just it makes me feel productive, I suppose.
Yeah, you did that. You did that lovely reading of the Yellow Sign. I put that on
Yeah,
the Flash channel. I definitely want to keep getting content from you. I know
yeah.
you like doing weird videos and
Hmm.
different things, playing around with different stuff, and I love that.
Yeah, yes, I'll definitely do that. I want to also do a reading of Cheshire Burke's short story, which was inspired by The King in Yellow,
Oh,
because I
cool.
think it fits really well with the yellow sign and the different perspective of how it affects white people to how it would affect black people, which I thought was inspired. So I want to read that one as
Oh, very
well.
cool.
Definitely, yeah.
So what do you like about The King in Yellow and the Yellow Sign? What is it that gets you excited about it and makes you feel like you need to read this and you want to share it with people?
Yeah. So to be honest, if I am completely honest, it's the life model and the art and the fact that it talks about all the fun things that she goes out to do, and it's just like a little it's all set in one room, but you get to hear about all these fun things that she does outside of the room. And I was a life model for about 10 years, so I just enjoyed that aspect of it. But I mean, obviously I love the weird fiction and the kind of it is actually quite a creepy story, like the figure that's outside. um it is actually quite a spooky story, but I also do like because I think it's in the era of the Belle Epoque and that in France,
Mm-hmm.
which is a fun era, so
Yeah,
that's what I enjoy.
yeah.
Mm.
What I love about Chambers is like, I don't know. I got such a weird feeling reading that whole collection. Um, I There were certain stories where I felt like they were my own memories.
Mm.
It was so weird. It felt
Mm.
like I was remembering some past life, and I knew these settings. I forget what the name of the story was, but there was something about some kind of marble sculpture. I'm trying to remember. It's been a while, but I love what with weird fiction when it has this, it creates like a disassociative effect, or some kind of internal dissonance where I don't even feel like myself, and I
Yeah,
feel this eeriness of like, huh, I know that. Weird. Like,
yeah. It's like one of the things that I really like about Robert Aikman as well is that for example, there's a story of his called Ravison, and the only thing that really happens is that this guy goes to see, I believe it's the widower of a man that he used to know, if I have it correct, and she starts talking about their daughter and says, oh, my daughter's clothes are in the wardrobe, do you want to see them? And then she's like showing this guy all of her daughter's clothes, and it's really like, you can't put your finger on it, but it's really Freudian and weird, and there's something really bizarre and uncomfortable going on, but you can't put your finger on it. And that's, you know, this is one of the things I love about weird fiction, is it's not strictly a ghost story. Like, you can't really explain to someone what happened and why it was weird. It's just, it has that effect on you. So,
I feel like your writing has that effect as well.
Oh, that's good.
You tend to not go for the creepy,
Yeah.
but you like things to be a little bit just off and strange.
Yeah.
And
that's a big compliment, because that's, you know, that's what I want. That's what I want to do.
That's why I love your writing. I think it's like the combination of like that you can create this weird atmosphere, and that there is this kind of you know, you're so into, I mean, right now you're so into the, you know, bright colors and textures and everything. So it's like these worlds where strange, unsettling things are happening, but people are just acting totally normal about it.
Yeah.
Everything looks very beautiful and vivid, and it's just, it all creates this sort of strange effect, you know, of being like, you know, in some kind of like greenhouse with exotic plants, but strange things are happening.
Yeah. It's like the in my most recent book, New York has been overrun by man-eating plants, but everyone has to just kind of get on with things. So it's not, they're not even like that big a part of the story necessarily, although they do come into it at an important point. It's more about everyone, how it's changed everyone's schedule and how everyone has to work around it, and, you know, just take it as normal.
Yeah. I think that's really fascinating, because there's a lot of different ways to treat you know, strange surreal worlds or weird fiction. Everybody does their own thing with it, and everything that you write, like, people read a few different things of yours, and, you know, then if they saw something and didn't have a name attached, you know, it would be very obvious who wrote it immediately.
That's good.
So you have what I like about your writing is that you really have a very distinctive voice. So it's either going to be somebody's thing or not, you know.
Yeah.
It's not going to be their thing. But if it is their thing, then, you know, it's great.
Well, that's good. I like that. That makes me happy.
When did you start writing? I'm sure I've asked you this question some other time. I don't know, but.
Well, I mean, I've always done it. Before I could actually write, I used to really obsessively draw these pictures, and they were often of specific characters. Like, there was a character I would go back to called Peter the dog, and I would obsessively kind of do, not exactly comics, but each page had a different like scene, and there were like bagfuls of these Peter the dog stories, and then but professionally, the first story that I got published was in 2011. So yeah, since then it's sort of been, you know, snowballing.
Did you ever write poetry, or was it just always fiction?
I did used to write poetry. I did a lot more poetry at college. I did a few, I was doing creative writing and film and stuff. And I was doing sort of more poetry then. And mine were sort of very much focused on experiences and, you know, waking up with a hangover and things like that. And then I went through a kind of nonsense poetry phase, and I've got a couple of those on my channel. Actually, I did a reading of something I wrote years ago on my channel, about a man who wakes up with dandy flowers and no, a seagull took his legs or something, you know. So that's it. Yeah.
So tell me about life modeling. You say you did that for 10 years. That's
I did.
A really long time.
Yes. I started when I was at college because I was trying to find a job that I could do whilst doing my degree, and I've always been really bad at bar work and maths and, you know, adding up people's drinks, and so I just wasn't good at it. I just couldn't do it. And so I was sort of despairing, like thinking, well, what am I going to do? And then I got talking to this lady who was going off to New Zealand, and she needed someone to cover the classes that she life modelled for. Mm-hmm. So I said, well, I'll give it a go. And I don't think she really sort of believed that I would go through with it. But I did it the whole time I was there, actually, I think. And so that was really handy because it was actually at the college that I went to. Mm-hmm. And then when I moved, I just phoned up colleges and started doing it, you know, wherever I was. And they always seemed to need someone. So
how did it feel for you? Like, what was the experience like for you? Like,
so it's I don't know how I would explain it, but just what would often happen is if I was doing a lying down pose, you're often in a fairly uncomfortable pose.
Right.
But I would still somehow manage to fall asleep. And so I would, And so I'd wake up and I think, why is my leg numb?
The narcoleptic life model.
Yeah. And so why can I hear like all these people, you know, like it would get very quiet. But I'd sort of gradually become aware that there were lots of people in the room. And I think, I'm at work. This is so weird. And the thing is, thinking about it, actually, it's just occurred to me how that is a scenario, like I said about my writing about a weird world or something, where it's actually really weird. But you just get on with it like it's a normal thing.
You're sitting there naked in front of all these people and they're all drawing you and you're just...
Yeah, and if you thought about it too much or let yourself see it sort of more from the outside, you'd think, what am I doing? But because it's your job and, you know, I wasn't bothered about being nude in front of people, really. You just sort of had to get on with it. But like, it is a weird thing to do.
So you never got in your head about it? Like, you didn't feel weird?
Not really. No, I'm trying to the first time I did it, obviously, I was like, you're really scared of taking the blanket off and then being told, no, I didn't mean it, or you don't take your blanket off, or so. I was more embarrassed, I don't know if this goes for everyone, about being naked when you're not meant to be. So like, but if I was definitely told, yes, we're starting now, take the blanket off, and that, it was like, okay, let's just get on with it. But it was like a real, like, oh no, don't take the blanket off unless you're absolutely sure. Like, they're gonna see you anyway. So
I guess you're not one of those people that has like nightmares that they're suddenly naked in the wrong situation.
No, I never really had that. No, I never really had that dream. No, my nightmares were always much more being asked to do something in front of people, like the piñata thing.
Yeah,
that would be my nightmare. That would be it.
What about
naked? Fine.
What about naked piñata?
Well, if I was just stood there naked, again, fine. But the piñata aspect of it is what makes it stressful.
Blindfolded, naked, hitting a piñata.
Yeah, to me that's intense.
What were your like favorite poses? So I guess the ones where you're lying down.
Yeah, I mean, lying down is always my favorite, but you know, you do often have to get into like you don't want to be boring. Yeah. So you have to have like a leg up or something, and after a while it's gonna ache. Yeah. So if you just kind of accept, okay, this is gonna hurt after a while, but they do let you stretch your muscles so it's not too bad. And they, you know, usually they look after you pretty well.
How
There
long?
was the odd one.
How long would you have to hold the poses?
I think I'm trying to think if I went longer than 2 hours. Generally 2 hours was the length of a lesson, and I have had to do a standing pose quite a few times actually for the whole of the class time.
Wow.
So that to me was always the worst. Like if they said, oh, do you mind doing, if you stand like this, and usually it's like you're leaning more on one leg and that, so it's like even worse, you know, like you stand and we'll do that for 2 hours and inwardly you're kind of going, oh no, but outwardly you go, okay. And so yeah, that was
I don't think I could do that. I could lay down for 2 hours, but I don't think I could stand for 2 hours.
yeah, but you'd feel kind of proud of yourself, like I achieved something today, you know. And you don't want to be, yeah, you don't want to be the life model who complains. So you know, I just wanted to get on with it.
Yeah, that's interesting. You know, feeling accomplishment being like basically a human statue, like.
Yeah, and it was good because it kind of you take in what the teacher says about art and techniques and stuff, and so I always found it quite informative, you know, and it's nice to be in an environment where you're surrounded by art, and also to think that the students in the room could end up going on to do something really major. Like I'd always think, oh, I wonder if any of them will, because I modelled at the place, I went to college and modelled at the place where what's his name, Grayson, is it Grayson Perry? I can't remember anyone's names tonight, but he's like a famous he has stuff at the Turner Gallery anyway, you know.
Where did you go to school? Not that I'll know what it. But...
Well, I went to school. Well, I'm in Essex, and so I went to school in Essex, and I did my for college in the UK. It's from 16 to 18, and then you go off to university. And I called that place college as well because it was a university college, but. So it was in Braintree where Grayson Perry and I went to college, and then I went to Bath, which is in Somerset, which is where, you know, the West Country, people make fun of the accents and that kind of thing. That's where that is. So yes, I lived there for a while.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I always I never did life modeling. I don't know why I didn't. I'm really surprised I didn't actually.
Yeah.
Because I
am as well, actually. I would expect that you would have.
I don't mind being naked. Like, it doesn't make me remotely uncomfortable to be naked at all. Like, at all. And it's easy money. I mean, you just sit there and then just like stiffness. I mean, that's like, but when you're young, I mean, that's not a big deal. If you're like 20, like.
Yeah, now it would be, yeah.
You could sit in a pretzel position for you.
I had to pose for a fine art class, and that was probably the weirdest class that I've had to pose for, because he didn't want me to just do a pose and they would actually draw me. He put like a big load of paper up on the wall and then asked me to he would call a student up one by one to make a mark on the wall, just any old mark, nothing to do with me. And then he asked me to make a shape out of the mark that I had just seen on the paper. And I said, okay.
Like interpretive drawing?
Yeah, and then he laid the paper down on the floor, and you know, all the students were like drawing all over it, and I just had to like walk. He asked me to like walk in the middle of them and then occasionally like make a pose. So so I just did that. It was, you know,
that sounds like a scene from
staying still. Yeah, it was a fun time.
That's interesting. So I never did it. I didn't know what it was like. I thought it was just like everybody being quiet, like so the professor was actually talking about form and everything. That makes it a lot less weird and boring.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, there's one more thing I regret not doing in college. The other two are theater and dating more women.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't do enough of that. I did a bit, but not much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was so like with theater, like I just had so much the same shit, performance anxiety, being afraid of being judged. Like for some reason,
Yeah.
I'm just I've always been so, I used to be so scared about being judged. So, the idea of like auditioning, it like
Yeah.
is just terrifying.
I used to just I mean obviously I found it scary, but I did drama and creative writing, and I never really found it a problem at the time. I even went to like a few actual auditions like after college, and now I look back on it and think, how did I do that? Because like that's so not who I normally am. But at the time, I think because I was so sure that it was what I wanted to do as well as writing, but now I just don't think I want to do it enough. I decided I just didn't want to do it enough to go through all the rest of it.
Yeah. Well, you have your own channel. I mean, you sort of do it.
Yeah.
You're performing. You're on camera,
Yes. Yeah.
But
Yes.
yeah, that's really cool.
Hmm.
All right, so we've hit about an hour, so I think
Okay.
that's a good stopping point. Nice.
Doke.
We got a nice chunk
Yeah.
of Madeleine and her
Rah.
a bit about your
Good.
life and your modeling and your writing.
Yeah. All the jollies.
Yeah,
Well, very nice to talk to you as always.
I'm very excited for your future projects.
Yes.
Mystery project we're not going to talk about right now, but
No, we won't. But
extremely excited. Something.
I'm excited about it as well, and I'm a bit more. I think I'm a bit more alive now than I was a week ago. I was quite poorly, but yeah.
Sorry you felt bad.
That's right.
So what just remind people, so you can follow Madeleine, it's just her name, Madeleine Swann, on Twitter, and you're on Facebook.
So I'm actually Madeleine Purnell now. So it's like become a pen name. My old name is now my pen name.
On Twitter? What's your
well, Madeleine Swann is not my name anymore.
Well, your writer name, it's still your
yeah.
writer name.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
But your Twitter name is Madeleine Swann, isn't it?
I'm Madeleine Swann, like on all the everywhere, socials and stuff.
Nobody cares about your marital status.
But I'm married and I changed my name.
Married. She wants everybody to know she changed her name.
Yes.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
And her YouTube channel is the same as your name, right? Yeah, Madeleine Swann.
Mm-hmm.
She has regular content. She's very good about keeping that up, keeping it pretty regular. And yeah, look out for upcoming things and more colorful outfits.
There'll be lots of those. Whatever else happens, there will be colorful outfits.
The world will burn up, but Madeleine will be colorful.
I'll be there in rainbow.
And check out her books, her Rainbow Sock, that's still in print, right? That's still
no, that's actually not in print anymore. No.
Are you going to do anything with it, or
probably not, because I think I've sort of moved on a little bit from it, so I don't know. I'm sure people will be able to get rare copies or something.
Find used copies of Rainbow. That was like what got me on the Madeleine train. That was so into it. But
I'm pleased there's a train. I didn't know there was a train. I'm glad about that. There's a train
because I'm on it, so there's obviously a train. Check out her latest book, and yeah, this is an exciting talent you should not miss if you're into weird writings and colorful worlds. Any last words, Madeleine?
Thank you all for coming. It's been very nice.
Wow.
Okay. I'll see you all. Talk to me online or something.
Yes, go harass Madeleine. Make her tell you a story.
Yes, and I will.
Yeah, that was good. I was really impressed.
Thank you. That was like just top of the head stuff.
I want to find out what the strong words were. I need to
Yeah.
know the strong
Maybe
words.
I'll do a sequel.
Please. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.